All right. The remaining modules are going to focus on the present and more specifically, things you can do right now to start moving your money forward and closing the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. We'll begin into the more practical side of money. So you've created a money and life vision for where you want to go. Now you have to get clear about where you currently are. Knowing the destination is great, right? But you can't create that roadmap with directions to get there if you don't know your starting point. So this module is about getting organized and getting clarity around your current financial situation. How much money is coming in and where is your money going? So if you've been avoiding or ignoring your financial situation, or you've just been coasting along but not really making the progress you would like to make, this is the time to face your money head on and to start taking control and be more intentional. And this may be uncomfortable for you. It may be uncomfortable, especially if you've been ignoring it for a long time or just kind of not wanting to deal with it for a long time. So that's okay. But the reality is that you, and really you alone, are responsible for your money, and you will not see the results you want to see. You will not see the improvements that you want to see unless you do sometimes the uncomfortable work, right? So that's what we're going to be working on in this module. So I want to be clear. This is not about shaming you for past decisions, money decisions, or mistakes. That is not helpful. What's done is done. This is about looking forward. So I want you to be kind to yourself. We are focused on moving you from where you are now and what needs to happen to move you forward. So whatever happened in the past, let that go, and let's focus on getting clear so you can move forward. Okay. Okay. So let's lean in. The exercise for this module will help you to get your financial situation on paper. So we often have an idea of where things are, but it could be easy to misjudge the reality of our situation and our finances when we try to keep everything in our heads. So sometimes we think it's worse than what it actually is. Sometimes we do find that is a little more severe and some more immediate action needs to be taken, but we don't really know until we start putting it on paper. And so that's where this first step is. So either way, getting organized and more clarity is the first step required to make the changes and to start making that progress. Okay. In the workbook, you will find a worksheet for you to capture your monthly income, and there'll be areas for three types of expenses. So the first type of expense is what I like to call a fixed or recurring expense. And so these are things that occur about the same time every month. These are things like your mortgage or rent, your car note, utilities, daycare. And so you will list these by due date on the sheet. Okay. So like I said, these are things that happen every month. You know they're coming. These are kind of like standard, again, fixed or recurring expenses. Okay. The second category of type of expense is day-to-day spending. So these are things that still occur monthly, but the amount and the timing may vary. So you typically have a bit more discretion around these, and these include things like gas, groceries, your personal care, so your nails and your lashes and your hair. Eating out is a big one. So all of those fall into day-to-day spending. So we typically are spending on these things on a regular basis, but we do have discretion over them of how much we spend and when that happens and those type of things. So that falls into the day-to-day spending category. Okay. The third type of expense is what I call periodic or random expenses. So these are things that happen on a frequency other than monthly. So this can include, so they can happen periodically. This can include like HOA dues that are due annually or quarterly, or insurance premiums that you pay an annual premium for or a quarterly premium for, or it can include things like summer camp, that only happens a certain time of the year, but not throughout the whole year. Or this category also includes things that happen randomly, like a car repair, unexpected car repair, or some house maintenance that may need to happen, a house repair that you didn't know about, or even buying gifts for, different events, birthdays, anniversaries, or graduations, those type of things. So it's kind of happen periodically. It's not like you necessarily have to do that every month, but they do come up throughout the month, right? Throughout the year. So when thinking about a money or budget, a lot of times people leave these things out. They leave these, forget to include these types of expenses that happen because they don't happen monthly, but they are real expenses and they are real. They do require real money. And so whether you're accounting for it monthly or not, the expense is still there and it's still real. So I like to include those as part of the budgeting process. so we can get a full picture, a holistic picture of what your actual income and expenses are. So also on the income side, you want to include monthly income, but also think about if you have other money that comes in and stuff like that. You can think about that as well. But I want you to, like I said, going back to the periodic random expenses, even though those happen randomly, I want you to think about how much you spend on those things throughout the year. And it doesn't have to be perfect, so you don't have to like dig deep and really deep on this, but this kind of take a minute to think about it. Or you could look at, say just browse through things for the last year of some statements or something and see what comes up. Um, so a ballpark figure on this is fine, but when you find that total number for these different types of expenses, you would take that number and divide it by 12 so you can see what that amount would be if you were to account for it on a monthly basis. Okay. So after your income and your expenses are down, you will determine whether you're over or short based on a monthly view of things. Okay. So I don't want you to try to do too much too soon. So the focus for this module is just getting everything down to determine where you are. That's it. Okay. So try that exercise out: income, the three types of expenses, and then we'll work on that more of next steps in a later module. Okay. See you in the next module.